So 6 months later, this has been quite the comparison here. A lot of people like to know what has bothered me. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 15 Pro Max versus Pixel 8 Pro 6 months later. Now, I've had both of these since launch day. Google did send this one out for review when I initially got it, so thanks to them for sending that out. And then the Apple iPhone I purchased with my full money, but that doesn't really gonna change anything. The first thing I want to talk about here is the price to value ratio. Which one do I think is offering more for the price? And I think that's the Google Pixel 8 Pro this time around. And the reason why is you're getting a phone that usually, it does retail around $999, but it's usually found at a discounted price. And depending on where you look, you can get this thing much cheaper than an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Usually you can look at somebody's already selling a fully functional one at $419. There's probably some issues with that, but $600, you can find these used already for around $600. You're not finding a 15 Pro Max anywhere near these prices. Also, throughout the year, the discounts have come down on the Pixel 8 Pro. And plus, you're getting a premium build, premium camera, software updates for up to 7 years. This is seemingly, for price to the value, it seems like a much better deal to me than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is a premium top-level phone, but you're paying premium top-level prices. You're never really getting deals on a phone like this. Some would argue, though, that the iPhone is giving you everything in the kitchen sink. There's no real sacrifices, and you got to pay to play with the best of the best. When it comes to the durability and the feel in the hand, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is probably my favorite of these two. Reason why is it's a lighter feel to me than the Pixel 8 Pro. Even though the Pixel 8 Pro is technically lighter, it's weird that the iPhone 15 Pro Max feels lighter. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe because the camera bar, the top heaviness of this phone. This is technically a lighter phone on the spec sheet, but the way it's this iPhone 15 Pro Max feels, I think the weight's just better balanced across the body. It just feels really comfortable to hold here. On the edges here, you'll see the glass comes all the way up to the corner, so it's not really sharp right there. Titanium feels nice. The curved corners, really nice. This phone just feels amazing in the hand, but the iPhone 15 Pro, the smaller one, feels even better than this one. For overall ergonomics and size, I still find this phone to feel very nice and durable day to day. It stays very clean as well. Now, the Google Pixel 8 Pro, though, also feels relatively light for its size. It's actually lighter than the 15 Pro Max, but there's some density to this camera bar at the top. It feels a little top heavy. I do like how, you could just kind of place your finger right like that to kind of hold the phone. It doesn't really slip out of your hand. Also, the curved corners on here are also very nice, and I love that they went to a flat display. Some people don't, but I personally really like this flat panel here. This one has also felt very comfortable. I also think with its shinier polished aluminum rails, it tends to look a little more premium to me as well than that titanium looking iPhone over there. Some people would disagree, but I quite like it. I also can hold it up here and give my finger a place to hold the phone like that as well. So I find this for a phone that is quite big, it's not too slippery because these edges are definitely kind of grippy. And while this is slippery, you can just kind of place your finger like that and hold on to it pretty well. So if you want to use this without a case, this one is not super slippery, honestly. Overall, the build is very premium on both, and I honestly don't really care which one I'm using. They both feel like I'm using a similar level of premium, whether I'm on the iPhone or the Pixel. I really don't think about that much either way. It's just great on both of these. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the battery life between these two. This one, actually, I found myself 6 months later finding the iPhone to be stronger in this department. It seems to just last a little bit longer, regardless of the fact that this phone actually has a smaller actual size battery. Like, the capacity itself is actually smaller than the Pixel 8 Pro. However, the Pixel 8 Pro charges faster in my experience. In addition to that, it has this adaptive charging and adaptive battery saving modes, which if you turn these on could definitely outlast the iPhone, but those kind of really lower the performance with the 120 hertz being turned off in some of those. So not a major fan of that. I will say though, overall, the Pixel seems more to me a 1-day phone with heavy use. The iPhone is more like a 1.5-day phone. So 2 days if you're a light user, but 1.5 if you're medium to heavy. Medium, on both, you should be able to get easily throughout your day. So battery life, not a major concern with either. However, if I was picking just one all these months later for battery, I'm going with the iPhone. It has a little bit longer life day to day. If you want to know actual screen numbers, I found myself getting around 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what I'm doing better on this phone. But it's 2 hours is a stretch. It's probably more like 30 minutes to an hour or so. 2 hours if I'm like really pushing the Pixel hard. But neither phone is one of those phones that I go out with and I'm like worried about the battery. They're both very good. So in terms of charging, they both charge via the USB-C. Both of them should charge around 50% in around 30 minutes. But the iPhone has the MagSafe, although you can get a MagSafe case for a Pixel or any other Android phone and it kind of mimics the MagSafe. Just keep that in mind, it is possible. The Pixel has the reverse wireless charging, though the iPhone does not. This is the first year iPhone goes to USB-C, and it's been amazing that we can kind of finally, mix and match our products between different line of product and not have to change the cable all the time. We also have a 23 watt wireless charging here. This one is claimed to be around 15 watt. So the wireless charging is actually faster on the Pixel. 6 months later, though, I found that the rapid charging mode on the Pixel just seems to charge the phone a little faster to me on a faster charger than the iPhone has in my experience. So I prefer the Pixel and the charging front. All right, so let's cover one of the most important aspects of both phones, the software. Now, both of these phones to me kind of have a similar feel in that they're both minimal and easy to use. They don't go over the top with extra features, so it's pretty similar there, but they couldn't be more different in how they look. You could see the control centers. They kind of look very different. The area where you will change your features and stuff, incredibly different looking, which I do like. I do think both employ a pretty simple experience, though, in both of those areas. I mean, these big buttons on the Pixel is just super easy to go ahead and press. You long hold them and it'll go to those features. Now on the iPhone, if you go ahead and long hold these, they don't really go there. So there's an extra step now for the iPhone. You have to manually go into settings to change the control settings area. Now in the actual settings department, though, let's go over here. You'll see the Pixel doesn't have all these colorful icons. It's more of a minimal, clean look here, just like black icons on the left. Over here, we have more colorful icons. And I like how Pixel does this because it's more of a vanilla look and it doesn't look exactly like the iPhone. So a lot of Android skins will put like colorful icons and it kind of, to me, it looks too much like the iPhone, like they're copying. So I kind of prefer, let me turn off True Tone. I kind of prefer the Pixel's look here. Also, you can see, I think the iPhone in settings with all these apps just clutters up settings. Pixel, like other Android phones, puts the applications in one area right here in apps, which cleans it up a little bit. But generally, they do have a good amount of settings in both, with the Pixel having, a few gesture-based options as well. If we go over here to System, go to Gestures, you'll see quite a few there. And then Apple's pretty similar. They got their own extra action mode button feature settings, so that's a little unique to them. But other than that, it's pretty well laid out on both, pretty easy to operate on both. The app library reminds me kind of how Pixel automatically, alphabetically organizes the apps, but this one kind of organizes them in folders. You can also just search here in a list format that's kind of simple. Over here with the Google experience, you could just look for the app very easily, just like you could do here on the iPhone. So both of them quite nice. In the area of software that the iPhone wins, though, is going to be how it plays with the other products. The Pixel does a good job here as well, but I just feel like the AirPods, the Apple Watch, all that stuff still plays very nice with the iPhone, and the way it looks, they all look basically the same. although Pixel's doing a really good job with their tablets and the watches lately. I prefer the Google Pixel's search though. It's so much better. Pixel 9 Pro. So in the area of search, how fast it is, and it has generative AI now, you can just generate an answer really quick. The AI on here is amazing. Also, you can circle search now, which is just really crushing the iPhone. In this area, you have AI-based stuff in the camera as well, like the magic eraser and things like that. So the AI feature set for the Pixel is just really ahead of Apple right now. And that's because Google invests a lot in software and AI and stuff like that. So from a search-based experience, I think the Pixel absolutely crushes the iPhone. And also, I found in my software experience, if you want to use things like Google Keep, Google Sheets, Google Maps, all these Google features like Google News, whatever, they're all built into the Pixel and they all work flawlessly on the Pixel, better than any other phone I use with Google Apps. So if you're a Google ecosystem person, you can play that on the iPhone too, but I think the Pixel is the best phone if you're into the Google ecosystem. If you really use those apps a lot, this is the best phone on the market. The iPhone though has the strength of iMessage and FaceTime, the very polished app store, the privacy. I feel like there's less like things tracking to like give you advertisements on the iPhone. I feel like I see more ads on the Pixel. A lot of those things can be turned on. You could use different applications to block some of that out. But I do find that the iPhone experience to be a little bit more private, but still everyone looks the same with the same kind of software. It still keeps things more on device, I feel like, whereas the Pixel, I feel like, tracks some things and shows you more personalized ads, if you will. Software updates do seem to come faster to the iPhone over my time using this, but Pixel has been very reliable as well, much better than most other Android manufacturers, and they've been like this for basically ever. I also have to say that I might even have one for May here. Let's check. It just turned May. Not quite yet, but they do push them out pretty much every month, and I gotta say, they've been really improving the performance because the Pixel 8 Pro now runs basically flawless every day. No crashes, no bugs really. There is one area I don't like about this phone. Some applications, when I'm scrolling, look a little choppier than on the iPhone, but other than that, that might be related to the processor. Other than that, the software updates on the Pixel, 7 years guaranteed over here, and there's no official guarantee on the iPhone, but we do get ourselves probably, around 5 years of update support. So it's going to be enough, and by that time, you'll probably update to another phone at that point. All right, 6 months later, which camera do I like more? Which one do I not like more? And what features? I think I got a little dirt on that one. First of all, I really like how both these phones have their own unique identity. You have the camera bar here. I love how Pixel has separated itself from iPhone, not trying to copy that. And then you have your triple camera design over here. I call it the stove top because it looks like I could just turn the stove on and put some eggs on there or whatever. But let's talk about what's the strength for my iPhone after these months later. The iPhone's the everyman simple camera. Macro modes, we can punch in 5 times, zoom, and you have some nice, really, really good video quality on here. There's just nothing, that's nothing in the background, by the way. Nothing Phone 2A box. There's nothing really touching it in the video. It's just really some of the best out there. The action mode is incredible. You can do 2.8K on action mode, not quite 4K. And then you have Vision Pro support over there. But where the iPhone, I don't really love it, is some of the photos to me aren't as sharp as the Pixel. And some of the skin tones, I like the way it looks better on the Pixel, as well as how it processes the post photo. Not that the iPhone's bad, it doesn't blow me away. Like the Pixel sometimes has some ridiculous detail, like you're like shocked that it was taken on a phone. I don't really feel like that with the iPhone. Maybe I'm just because I'm used to the iPhone. But one area where the iPhone's camera has beaten the Pixel for me is the front facer. It's a 12 megapixel, it's a 10.5 on the right. And I just prefer the way the video looks, the photo. It's not as close to your face. It just seems better. So all around, I think the iPhone is just a great camera. It's probably the one I would pick if I was looking for everything. But if I'm just into photography, the Pixel, man, ridiculous sharpness, The camera, look how it processes those photos. This stuff is insane. Like how it processes and just makes it look tack sharp. It looks amazing. It really does. It looks far better to me than the iPhone photo. If I go ahead and zoom in there, look at this. Bam. Just brightens it up, gives it some vivid punch. We also do have action pans. We have long exposure, photo, night sight. And if I go to the video mode, we have plenty of video as well. The only thing I don't like is I wish the settings were not this low. Sometimes I forget where they're at, the settings. I wish they put them maybe like up here or something, but I guess it's okay at the bottom as well. That's just a little nitpick because I'm used to pressing settings up here on Samsung phones. We'll click over here. You do have pro modes over here. Again, they have quite a few, but they keep it kind of simple in here. They don't go like over the top with an abundance of features, but they give you the ones that matter and the ones you're going to need to use. Pixel also has that kind of you don't need to know what you're doing kind of feel, similar to the iPhone, to just get amazing video and photo. And it also has a pretty good mic. The zoom is also good as well. They really improved and went to town on the zoom quality on this phone and the 5x, and even this zoom, when you zoom in 30 times, it uses some AI software processing algorithm to give you a really, really good overall result. So Pixel for me is the photography's choice. After all these months, I would pick it every day of the week if I'm just doing for photos. The iPhone I'm picking for video and front-facing camera and social media. It still has some of the best out there in that department, although the Pixel is really good in social media as well, comparatively to like a Samsung phone. All right, so I took some samples with these yesterday, and you could see the iPhone looks pretty pleasing. They add a little bit of, I feel like they add a little saturation. The Pixel is actually more accurate. It was more toned down like this. It wasn't like this bright or colorful. It was more like this. But overall, they seem to do pretty good. The Pixel has more accurate colors with the green. This is more what it looked like. It looks like Apple's punching up the greens there, because the greens were nice, but they weren't that vivid. Let's go over here and we'll take a look again. Kind of similar concept here. Let's zoom in on these stairs and see what kind of detail we get up close. We'll go ahead and zoom in. And it looks like the Pixel was able to retain more detail here. You can zoom in a little further here on the iPhone, but these stairs looking a little bit more noisy than the Pixel. We'll go over here. We'll zoom in again, and we'll take a look at this photo. Coming over here, similar affair. The saturation bumped up on the iPhone, which I quite like. I think some people will prefer that. But overall, you see their pictures are going to be close. It's really coming down to personal preference, but it's pretty insane. You're getting like same level quality or near same level quality for hundreds less on the Pixel. Months later, when it comes to their audio, the Pixel is actually the louder speaker. It gets about 2 decibels louder. I do find that the sound quality though is better on the iPhone. So if you care about the actual sound quality, it's a little bit better sounding at the full volume on the iPhone. But that's if you're not using headphones. How many of you are not using headphones? So when it comes to the phone call quality, the Pixel definitely did not have better signal strength to me and overall quality in this department as the iPhone. The iPhone had better strength in the bars, and it's really weird to say that because most of the time the iPhone isn't my favorite, but it was a little better than the Pixel 8 Pro in the area of reception strength and phone call quality. Also, I like the spam protection on the Pixel. Even though we were talking about phone call quality, there's one thing, even though I found this one to have a little bit better signal strength, this one has call screening. AI call screening will identify spam callers for you and kind of let you know this number looks risky. That is a useful feature on the Pixel. I've seen some of that before on my iPhone, but not quite as regularly as the Pixel. The Pixel is one of the best to avoid like spam messages and spam calls, which is a big problem in 2024. People are getting tricked left and right, and this one really helps out with that. And I think that's going to become a thing of the past as these phone makers start to add this more to their phones. One thing I wanted to mention is the storage experience is quite similar on both of these products in that they have pretty fast storage and onboard storage, but they both want you to sign up for their cloud spaces, their cloud storage systems. The iPhone is always bothering me, telling me you need more storage in your iCloud. I know, and I'm not buying it. I haven't bought it for years, And I'm not buying extra storage because I don't want to store everything in iCloud. I'm kind of old school like that. I like to store things on my own hard drives because I like that better. But this is always bothering me to go ahead and get more. The Pixel will also do the same thing. If you go overboard, it'll try to tell you sign up for some more Google storage. So both of these companies want you to sign up for their extra cloud storage. Just keep that in mind. That's one thing I'm not a major fan of. Some other Android phones will just give you a bunch of storage. You can put an SD card and be on your way. It's not usually flagship phones, but you can get a lot of storage and they're not bugging you about getting more cloud storage. But a lot of phones are doing that this day. They're not the only two here, but these ones are some of the most that do it the most. And both of these do have great emergency SOS and, crash detection features on both of them. So I really like that for this. Could be a life-saving feature on here. I'm not going to try to demo here, but you have it here on the iPhone as well. This has been in the news a lot for saving people's lives on the iPhone. I think the Pixel might have had one of these features first, but they both have that. And if you're wondering why I haven't mentioned Dynamic Island, it's because there's nothing really to compare. The Pixel doesn't have Dynamic Island. Does it set the iPhone apart? To me, not really. It's useful sometimes, but I do like the Pixel's punch hole. It's pretty small, so that wasn't a big separator either. The Face Unlock on the Pixel is much more fast though, as the iPhone you can't bypass it. But the in-display fingerprint sensor for the Pixel is also pretty good as well. So the biometrics are pretty tight, pretty close. It just depends on your preference. So 6 months later, this has been quite the comparison here. A lot of people like to know what has bothered me. There's not a lot that's bothered me about both of these. I just think it's amazing that we have these options these days. They're quite different, but quite similar in that they're both premium smartphones, giving you a premium software experience with premium cameras and good battery life. I think it's amazing how much phone you're getting for the money with the Google Pixel 8 Pro. And I think that's because Google's business model is not about selling just hardware. They're a software company first, so they want to get you on the software, so they're willing to take a little bit of hit on the price point with what they sell this for. Apple, not so much. They're more of a hardware company first. So you get a lot for less money, and you get a lot of software support and easy to use experience, a very Google-fied experience. If you're not into the Google ecosystem of services, you're going to hate this phone. But if you love them, you're going to love this phone. Keep that in mind. More than any other phone, the Pixel is really a Google phone. Keep that in mind. But it's amazing. With the AI, it's ahead of pretty much most of the market. I didn't mention that temperature sensor as well. That can test temperatures if you like to do that. The iPhone is top of the line iOS. It's polished or fine. It works flawlessly in pretty much every department that you would care about on a phone. So there's not much else to say. It's got a wider display, maybe a more bougie branding, if you will, for some people. But both of these are extremely pleasing. And for their target audience, whichever one you want to go with, you're going to be extremely pleased with either. However, we're only a few months away from, well, not a few, about 5 months away from the iPhone 16 Max. Pro Max should be a 6.9-inch display. And I think Google's going to launch a bigger phone as well with a Pixel 9 Pro XL or something like that. So this is going to get even better as well. This is a great time to be a smartphone user, I tell you. And that's my 6 months later between the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the Google Pixel 8 Pro. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below in the comment area. Let's discuss this. Let me know your thoughts. Do you rock out with both? Do you want one or the other? Which is your favorite? I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.